MrBeast isn't who you think he is. From getting kicked out of the house and having an identical clone, to literally running for president very soon and even giving away his channel after his death. These are 10 things you didn't know about MrBeast. And first up is the time MrBeast literally got kicked out of his mother's house after giving her a heart attack. And the story behind it is deeper than you can imagine. The situation started when MrBeast was just 16 years old. When MrBeast's mom told him to go to a college, he already started his YouTube career. MrBeast's mom didn't believe in Jimmy at first and kept saying that he should go to a college instead of making videos on YouTube because MrBeast was making no money and only had a couple thousand subscribers. And that was the moment when Jimmy decided to lie to his mother. For almost a year straight, MrBeast was telling his mom that he goes to the college, while in reality, he was staying at Chris's house and making YouTube videos. Jimmy absolutely hates to talk about this story, and he says it was the worst time of his entire life.
So then my mom made me go to a community college, and it was miserable. It was literally the worst time of my life. I hated it with a passion. So then I just stopped going to community college, and I would go to my friend's house and just work on videos. But I basically had like 6 months until my mom found out that I wasn't going and she was going to kick me out. That's when I went really hard, and I did that video and a bunch of other videos, and I had a month where I made 20 grand. I told my mom, I was like, hey, I'm moving out. Also, I have straight zeros. And she like almost had a fucking heart attack because she didn't understand it. She just wanted what was best for me. And then I moved out.
Needless to say that MrBeast's mom was shocked. She was working at the military for her entire life, and having a son doing some videos online, skipping the college, might actually give a heart attack to a person like her. After Jimmy finally made his first YouTube money, he immediately moved to another house with Chris, and this house was actually robbed a few years later, but we'll let that slide. And even though MrBeast's mom didn't believe in him, he still gave her $100,000 in one of his videos and said that it was the proudest day of his life. Jimmy deserves some crazy respect after that.
So I wanted to give you a check to help you pay for it.
No.
Yeah.
But that's only 1 out of 10 craziest things about MrBeast's life. So let's take things to another level, because MrBeast's girlfriend said that their first date was literally the weirdest thing of her entire life. But not so many people know about what happened to MrBeast's ex-girlfriend, Maddie. And it's actually very important in this situation, because Maddie actually appeared in lots of MrBeast videos a couple of years ago. Jimmy and Maddie adopted a dog in a dog shelter video and named her Pinky, and MrBeast even surprised her with 100,000 roses for Valentine's Day once. But in late 2021, things started to get darker. Maddie suddenly moves to California and takes their dog Pinky with her. Since that exact day, their lives separated forever. A lot of people say that MrBeast's ex was a gold digger, and that was the reason of them breaking up. But there's no official statement about it. The only thing we know is that after Jimmy started dating with his new girlfriend Thea, he deleted the Valentine's Day video with Maddie from YouTube, and you won't find it anymore on his channel. But let's talk about their first date. And it was crazier than you think, because Jimmy literally thought she's gonna be a gold digger too.
So I was like, okay, she's very beautiful. Let's go ahead and figure it out. Is she into this or not?
They met at the club in South Africa, and after talking to so many gold diggers, Jimmy basically created a list of 6 different questions which can perfectly spot out a gold digger.
When I was single, I had like this checklist of like 6 things. If I met a girl that had these 6 things, we'd be like best friends. And she like instantly like checked all 6 of them. Wow. And then we started dating.
But of course, Thea was not really expecting their first date being a goddamn interview, and needless to say, she was shocked too.
He started asking me a lot of questions. Little did I know he was actually like going off a list because he was looking for a new girlfriend potentially, and he had this whole list. He's like, she has to have a hobby, she has to have some interest, she has to do this and that.
Apparently, Thea successfully passed this test because Jimmy and her are dating for over 2 years now. They even adopted a cat and named him Satan, and I think people who accuse Jimmy of praising the devil are not going to be happy about it. But the next thing about Mr. Bleach might actually change your life, because Jimmy revealed that he is officially running for president, and his plan is absolutely insane.
I think I could make it interesting enough where I could win.
The entire strategy for winning the elections is to give away all of his money and businesses. Like, Jimmy literally wants to give away everything he owns to become homeless, proving that he doesn't need any money and literally cannot be bought. The even crazier thing is that Jimmy made a poll asking his subscribers on Twitter if they're gonna vote for him in case he runs for president. And with over 2 million votes in under a day, over 70% of the people voted yes. That's about 70 times more than Kanye got in 2020. And some people are scared, saying that Jimmy might actually win the elections, and a lot of people cannot really imagine MrBeast being a real president.
If I was a billionaire and I just gave away all my money, and I was like, I can't be bought, I just gave away every penny. I have literally $0 in my bank account. Vote for me. I feel like that's a pretty good campaign thing. Like, you're voting for me.
Yeah.
I have $10 billion, give away every penny, can't be bought, and then I just do what's best for people. I think I could make it interesting enough where I could win.
Okay, well, how?
Like, give away all my money and just, you know, I know how to get people's attention.
This plan might actually work, but since Jimmy is too young, he can run for president only in 2032, which is basically 8 years from now. If he wins the elections, not only he's going to be the youngest president of America, but also the most famous one. Not gonna lie though, the videos on his channel are probably gonna go crazy after MrBeast gets into the White House, and I don't think that people are ready for it. But if you think MrBeast lives a life of a rock star, here's one thing that almost killed him when he was just a teenager. It's a disease named Crohn's, and after Jimmy was diagnosed with it, his life turned into a nightmare.
Basically, your intestines are inflamed, and because they're inflamed, you don't process food as well. So if I ate something, it would just go right through me, like literally within a day. And because it's so inflamed, it's like someone's just dragging like a knife across your stomach. So it's super painful.
It was diagnosed when MrBeast was only 15 years old, and he lost over 50 pounds of weight in just 2 months. His face was completely covered in pimples, and he wasn't even able to go to school. His mom was almost crying talking about this.
Jimmy's diagnosis of Crohn's was earth-shattering. The weight loss, the loss of energy, all those facets of Crohn's attacked him really, really bad.
This disease changed MrBeast's life once and forever. He had to stop professionally playing baseball and was staying at home literally for months straight. And even though people don't usually die from having this disease, the average life expectancy for people with Crohn's is 5 to 8 years shorter compared to people without it. Jimmy even made a couple of videos on his channel talking about Crohn's disease and how it affects his life.
I went from like 180 pounds down to 139. I remember 139 because that was my lowest, which at 6'2" was like a frail little twig. I mean, I barely could get out of bed. I had no energy to do anything. I didn't even want to go to school.
Because of Crohn's, Jimmy has to stick to a very strict diet for his entire life. And the wildest thing is that this disease literally made Jimmy a billionaire. Since he wasn't able to play baseball and even go to school, he was staying at home making his first ever videos on YouTube. His channel was very small and videos were not getting any views. But because of Crohn's, MrBeast was doing YouTube every single day, which eventually made him the most famous YouTuber in history. So without Crohn's, MrBeast simply wouldn't be here. That's what you call the butterfly effect. Things are getting even darker now because there's one person that MrBeast hates with a passion. Not only this guy ruined his and his mother's lives, but he actually has to be #1 the worst human being. And this person is MrBeast's father. And after that thing, you will never look at MrBeast and his mom the same way again. Jimmy is never talking about his dad, and that's for reason, because what he did to Jimmy's family left a permanent mark on his life. MrBeast's mom and dad met at their job serving the United States military. They got married pretty soon and even had their first child, CJ, who is the older brother of MrBeast. Things were pretty fine until Jimmy was born, because after that, awful things started to happen. Jimmy's father was physically abusing his mom, and it was too bad that they got immediately divorced and the entire family had to move to another state because they were scared to death. Jimmy and CJ were raised by a single mom who survived a domestic abuse. She also retired from military after the kids were born, so the family didn't really have enough money. Now you understand why Jimmy named a video about giving his mom $100,000 the proudest day of his life, because his mother is an absolute hero who saved his life. After MrBeast became famous, his mom even wrote a book about surviving the domestic abuse and published it on Amazon, which you can still buy nowadays. The description of the book says that being separated from my abusive husband didn't make me a domestic violence survivor. It surely didn't release me from the grip of his brainwashing control and the innate power he had over me. I feel very bad for Jimmy and his mother, and nobody in this world deserves this. But even with a very rough childhood and dangerous disease, Jimmy still managed to become a billionaire. And if you think that he lives in some kind of multi-million-dollar mansion like others, you're gonna be very wrong. Because turns out that MrBeast doesn't even have his own house. MrBeast lives in a tiny studio inside of his humongous $70 million office, and this apartment is smaller than you think.
So yeah, this is my little apartment. This is where I live for the most part.
The entire apartment is only 200 square feet large, has only one room, a fridge full of water and yogurt because of Jimmy's diet, and a TV screen that he cannot even watch.
The worst part of my tiny apartment is the fridge blocks the TV. I'm running out of room.
I missed that. This is an enormous screen.
But it's above the couch, so I don't use it.
Probably the craziest part about this apartment is a $2,000 heated toilet seat. And according to Jimmy, it will just change your life forever.
Bathroom tour?
Oh, really? Even my bathroom's not off limits? Bro, really? We're about to just film in the bathroom together? So this is a heated toilet seat. I'm telling you, it will change your life. Get a heated toilet seat. It will make your butt feel great.
This apartment is located right inside of his office, and according to MrBeast, he lives there because he doesn't have to waste time driving to his job anymore, since he basically lives inside of the job. This apartment also has some cool little feature, because the front door doesn't even have a normal lock with a key.
Were you struggling to get inside that room? All you gotta do is just that. It picks up the Bluetooth on my phone and it recognizes it's me, so I can unlock the door.
So in case MrBeast would would lose his phone, there is simply no way to get inside of this little studio. But if you think Jimmy only makes some fun videos about money, here's one video that literally made MrBeast cry.
Just don't settle and find someone that, makes you happy.
Jimmy never plays, and he's always being genuine in front of many cameras, and that's why we love him. But here's one video he recorded that literally changed his life. MrBeast said many times that this was the most emotional reaction he has ever received, and it made his heart just melt. The situation happened when MrBeast was tipping a pizza delivery guys $10,000 each, and one of them reacted way different from what MrBeast was expecting. At first, the guy didn't react at all. Jimmy thought this guy was just a calm person, but turned out he simply didn't think the money was real. And the story about this guy right here is just truly heartbreaking.
When I tipped a pizza delivery guy 10 grand, he didn't really react too much. But then the next day, he came back and I was like, oh God, was he gonna ask for more money? I was like, fuck. And I didn't want to answer, but I answered it anyways. I opened the door and he just started crying. And he was like, I didn't even think this money was real. And he's like, I just took tomorrow off work and I haven't seen my kids in so long because I work every day. And like, I just got to spend a day with my daughter. This is the greatest day of my life. I'm so happy. And then he hugged me and he's crying and tears are going down my shirt. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Like, even I'm tearing up a little bit just thinking about it. You're tearing up a little bit.
Dude, it's touching, man.
Yeah, that was like the craziest reaction. I'm like opening the door about to be like, bro, I don't have more money.
Yeah.
And then he hits me with that and I just like 180, like so quick. I was like, fuck.
Not only MrBeast was crying while filming this video, but even just talking about it made Jimmy very emotional. MrBeast is forever going to be the greatest YouTuber of all time. But even though Mr. Breast is doing everything for his videos, there is one secret video that nobody is going to see until MrBeast dies, because Jimmy has a secret plan of giving away his channel to his friends. And this challenge is actually crazy because MrBeast says that his friends want him to die because of it.
Oh, tell him your plan for if you die.
Oh, yeah. They want me to die. The second I die,
Yeah.
Carl, Chandler, Chris, the three guys, Nolan maybe, he's a little newer. We haven't decided if he partakes yet or not. They all put their hand on my tombstone, last take it off, gets the channel. Everything. 100% everything.
If you think that is some kind of joke, MrBeast said many times that he's absolutely serious. Jimmy's net worth is over $1 billion now, so the winner of this tombstone challenge is going to become the billionaire in just a 1 second. In 2023, MrBeast even tweeted, "When I die and the boys put their hands on my tombstone to compete for the channel, should Nolan get to compete?" And 65% of the people voted yes, meaning that there's 4 official competitors in this challenge now.
That is happening. Mark my words. I don't even know if I've really said it publicly. I tweeted it one time, but I'm serious. I don't give a fuck how much you guys are crying. Put their fucking hands on the tombstone and give the channel to whoever wins, okay? And don't bully them for it. They're just doing what I want.
Let me know in the comments who you think should win in this final MrBeast challenge. Nolan, Carl, Chandler, or this girl, Chris. Even crazier thing is that Jimmy once said that he might actually make everybody believe that he's alive even after his death. Because Jimmy said if he's gonna die because of cancer or any other disease, he's gonna be filming videos every single day till his death and trick his fans by acting like he's still alive for years.
If I knew I was gonna die cancer or something and I had like 3 months to live, I would vlog every day. I'd film so many videos and then I would just schedule upload a video a week for like the next 5 years. So it's like I'm still alive and I would completely act like I'm still alive and everything. And I think something like that would be cool.
These ideas are truly insane, so I don't even know anymore if MrBeast is a genius or he's just going crazy at this point. But the craziest thing for today about MrBeast is that he officially has his very own clone. And this $1 million clone is just on another level, because not only he thinks like MrBeast, he acts like MrBeast. He's even been living together with Jimmy for over 4 years straight, and nobody knew about this dark story until very recently.
Where did you get the idea, I need a clone of me? So
Well, it just kind of happened. He just lived with me for a couple years. We'd work, we would talk until 3 a.m., get up 6 hours later, do it. And after 2 years, it was great.
And this is by design? You're like, you live with me and
Oh yeah, it's bedrooms side by side.
Some people might find this unethical because Jimmy literally made one of his friends live with him for a couple of years, work with him every time, and even have breakfast together. All of that just to create a person who thinks exactly like Jimmy, so he basically created the second version of himself. This person, who is officially the MrBeast clone, is Tyler. He is a very good friend of MrBeast and even was playing with Jimmy professional baseball in high school. And now he's the #1 most important person in the MrBeast team. He never appears on camera and never goes public or does any kind of interviews, but his impact into MrBeast's life is just insane. At this point, I can even believe that Jimmy has a body